Greetings everyone. In this video, we want to go through your comments. We really appreciate the comments that you post after every video. We do not need to agree on issues that we are publishing here. So if you raise your issue, we will not condemn you. You have a right to raise and differ with our own interpretation of things because we want to promote this dialogue. We do not have to agree on everything. But what we are saying is that we should raise these issues respectfully without insulting any person. As we do not insult anyone when we record these videos. So it's good that we differ, so we need to differ respectfully. So let's get to the comments. Comrade Kapelani, when you're referring to a video where we're discussing the ANC position on the ZEP, he writes, "It's very simple for South African government to end political instability in Zimbabwe by rebooking ZANU-PF, disapproving unfair and unfree elections." We have said that we do not, of course, understand ourselves why there's this relationship between ZANU-PF and the ANC. But we cannot decide on who should be friends of ZANU-PF or ANC for that matter. But there is no historical friendship. It only came about after the Unity Accord of 1987. but it's an issue for another day. But it's true that while the ANC might not necessarily condemn ZANU-PF, but it should not be seen picking any sides in the Zimbabwean election, because previously the ANC has seen as a party that would want ZANU-PF to win elections in Zimbabwe, but when ZANU-PF wins elections, it fails to rebuild the economy, leading to thousands of young people flocking to South Africa. Comrade Selo Monama writes, "This is the right time to amend the constitution of our country. Our leaders are now coming to their senses. SA can't continue to be the Father Christmas of the whole continent. Mr. Mabena must preach that Marxist theory to his Zim leaders. Foreigners are hugging us tightly and therefore we can't breathe. We can't just open SA borders while other borders in Africa are closed. People are not used as political football, but are raising their grievances to their government. They want to do away with this modern slavery brought by foreigners willing to work for peanuts in SA. In fact, they are against the exploitation of foreigners in the country. ANC must table the matter in Parliament, and before the 24 national elections, SA belongs to South Africans." You are raising, Comrade Selo Monama, critical points. We are alive to the exploitation of the migrants, particularly in the farming communities, in restaurants and other sectors of the economy. There's so much exploitation that is happening there. Migrants are paid below minimum wage because they are running away, some from conflict, some from collapsed economy. They accept that. But this is exactly what we want to talk about when we do a scientific analysis on migration. You say we should preach Marxism to our leaders, or I should do so to to my leaders, but it's an issue really that needs attention. We need to understand what Kwame Nkrumah meant when he spoke of a neo-colonial state. What does it mean? Because as we said in the previous videos, that we are not independent because the economy is not in our hands. The employers in the main are still those that benefited from apartheid and colonialism. They still employ what one would call migrant labor for exploitation purposes. Something that you address here. So these are the issues that we need to deal with. Comrade Waipona says, Mabenas, please stop irritating us about the useless Marxist. Marxism is not useless. It is our guide in understanding our society, in understanding where we are, how we need to resolve the crisis that we are confronted with on a daily basis. So Marxism becomes our guide. It is not a useless ideology. Comrade proudly South African writing, South Africa belongs to South Africans, finish and clear. Everyone is a country of origin. Let's respect that. It's too late for ANC to voice this issue. We've been singing this song for years and they never listened. Come 2024, we are going to show them flames. Our country is not for everyone. Nomvula, you are too late, my sister. Look, we will not decide on who should lead South Africa ourselves. But like I'm saying, we need to discuss the question of migration. Why are people from the rest of the continent flocking to South Africa? Why is migration one way down? It's an issue that we need to discuss. Comrade Puleta Ndaba says, I don't mind Zimbabweans, but I cannot tolerate the fact that they had the nerve to take our minister to court. As a government did them a favor by granting them the permits. You can see that you are dealing with the selfish and ungrateful cowards. Why are they not taking their government to court for human rights violation? They won't even go to vote for change in their country. It is really annoying. I've explained that, I mean, the reasons why we never went the legal route. I said South Africa is a sovereign state. It has a right to make its own laws, and we do not seek to co-govern with South Africa. Ours is to negotiate, but we respect also those that decided to go to the courts. Yes, you are correct. Other people that took the South African government to court are members of ZANU-PF. It's a fact, and ZANU-PF is the author of all our problems in Zimbabwe. So one can't imagine why a ZANU-PF member would be taking an ANC-led government to court, not confronting his own party in Zimbabwe that has brought this suffering. So it's strange that you see ZANU-PF activists celebrating the victory of this court case, but not celebrating the rebuilding of the economy in Zimbabwe, because ZANU-PF, as the ruling party in Zimbabwe, should be assisting the African National Congress by ensuring that it builds the Zimbabwean economy so that thousands of Zimbabweans do not flock to South Africa. And we've said ZANU-PF is not really helping the ANC. So you can imagine at a bilateral between ZANU-PF and the ANC, we discussed about the issues relating, or issues, comments raised by the ANC Secretary General, Comrade Fikile Mbalula. But how do you reconcile the fact that some of the people that went to court taking the Minister of Home Affairs are ZANU-PF members? And most of us are victims of a ZANU-PF-led government in Zimbabwe. Yeah, so I understand Comrade Bulelwa Mbono, but like I said previously, that in most cases we then tend to blame the victims. We are the victims of ZANU-PF, right? The majority of Zimbabweans are victims of ZANU-PF. Hence why in this country, in South Africa, we negotiate with the South African government. It is ZANU-PF members, not all of them, I must point out, and not everyone that went to court is ZANU-PF, but the people that started the process of going to court way before the announcement of the decision, decision to terminate Zimbabwe exemption permits as ZANU-PF activist. Yeah, well, Comrade Bulelwa Mbono says, Mapena, please advise your people to go home and vote. Guys, the energy we have seen in this case of former First Minister and the ZEP holders should be the same back to Zimbabwe. Fight for your country and a home for your children. It's a point, Comrade Bulelwa Mbono, that is noted. But as I'm just saying that we need to begin to say, if there's this relationship, of course others will say dates back to the liberation struggle between ZANU-PF and the ANC, which of course we beg to differ. But it was quite telling when some ZANU-PF members in South Africa approached the South African courts, taking the Minister of Home Affairs to court. I'm not saying it's wrong, but you need to begin to say, why are Zimbabweans in South Africa in the first place? And we have said it is not sanctions. Yes, sanctions must go, but it is not sanctions. It is the neoliberal agenda that was introduced by ZANU-PF in Zimbabwe. It is corruption overseen by ZANU-PF. It is nepotism. And all this points to a failure by a ZANU-PF-led government to rebuild the economy. Hence, all of us, we find ourselves here. Let me read the last comments. Like I said, we really appreciate your comments that you send to us, so that we understand. There's Comrade Langton Langolo says, good evening, my leader and my fellow comrades. On my side, I would want to remain anonymous because of fear of my life. We Zimbabweans do not know more about our rights. Those officials, they treat people like foreigners or strangers in a 5-star hotel. Some of the people have been insulted for just asking where they are not sure what to write in passport form. Once you make a mistake, they will charge you for another form. Online booking was the solution, even though it was just for 2 minutes. Also, the issue of photos must be resolved. People have been forced to take expensive photos by the wall. Meanwhile, some other photo studios are reasonable. My suggestion is that it's gonna be easier, you as our leaders, to visit Consulate unrecognized and do inspection there for the individual cases. It's gonna be hard for Zimbabweans to do it. The comrade is referring to the video that you recorded about the challenges that are at the consulate, the Zimbabwean consulate, when people apply for passport. And the comrade Kemets Spanda says, I agree with you. I once accompanied my niece there and I was left with a bitter taste in my mouth. Mr. Nyat insulted and harassed me just for going to check my niece's name 30 minutes before her scheduled time. I was embarrassed and axoxhwa njengenja. It's so sad and painful how we are treated by our fellow countrymen. If you speak in a language, they pretend they don't hear you. You have to speak in a certain language or English. Just send an undercover investigators. You will be shocked. No, thanks so much. Like we said, it's important that we get people that are victims, because the thing is, when we approach the Zimbabwean ambassador on these things, it would be like we are making things up. This is why we encourage people to come forward, because if you are able to record a voice note and circulate in a number of WhatsApp platforms, we don't think there is a problem in yourself being identified because you're a victim. For example, a lady who was forced to cut her hair. In fact, the guy, according to the audio, to forcibly cut the hair of the lady because according to them, the hairstyle, whether it was locks or something, is not permitted when one takes a passport. But instead of explaining this in simple terms to the lady to say, look, the law says you should remove your dreadlocks, allow the lady then to go and remove their dreadlocks and then come and do the application. So thank you so much. We appreciate, keep your comments coming. They assist us in doing more research. Like I said, we do not have to agree on everything, but we have to disagree respectfully without insulting each other. Otherwise, have a great day. Please circulate the video, subscribe, and if you are on TikTok, please follow us. Have a great day. Goodbye. I'd forgotten to read the comment from Brighton Jola. He says, are you having a Zuma throat, Comrade Mabena? Comrade Brighton, I'm trying to get some medication. As you can hear, I cough a lot. It's not really coughing, but every time when I talk, I need to clear my throat. Someone said I should buy some, gave me the name of the medication. I've not been able to visit the pharmacist, to go to the pharmacy and buy. But I will, I hope. I've been taking some herbs. Other people will say, no, there's this herb. Just use this herb. It is going to clear your throat and this thing will disappear. I hope you'll also give me, tell me what I should do. But thanks a lot. Goodbye.